In the early hours of July 3rd, 1996, flames consumed a Bronx warehouse. Inside, the charred bodies of 3 men were found, enforcers of the infamous DeMarco crime family. What began as a suspected gangland hit would explode into one of the bloodiest mafia wars in New York's modern history. But this wasn't about drugs, or money, or turf. This was about a woman. Her name? Valentina Russo. Valentina Russo was born into contradiction, old world tradition, and New York grit. Her father, a quiet Sicilian tailor, taught her elegance. Her Bronx-born mother? Street smarts and survival. By 19, Valentina was performing torch songs at the Blue Viper Lounge in Manhattan. Her velvet voice and porcelain beauty made her a favorite among wise guys, cops, and lonely bankers. But she didn't just turn heads. She turned hearts. At 24, she became the mistress of Salvatore Sal de St. DeMarco, the underboss of the DeMarco family. Sal was cold, calculating, married, and completely captivated by Valentina. She had something no other mistress did. Influence. He whispered secrets in her ear. She whispered back and listened, but Valentina wasn't his to keep, because someone else was watching her too. Nico Romano was Sal's opposite in every way. Young, impulsive, fiery. As a capo in the Romano syndicate, he was building his own legacy. He met Valentina at a Romano-owned club in Queens. Their first conversation? Half flirtation, half mockery. But it lingered. What began as teasing turned into weeks of cryptic letters, burner phone calls, and late-night motel meetings far from the city. It was reckless. It was forbidden. And it was real. Valentina was torn. Sal offered security, power, a place at the table. But Nico offered escape, freedom, something she hadn't felt in years. But someone always watches, always listens. It all unraveled with a single photo, a blurry Polaroid, found hidden in Valentina's apartment. Showed her with Nico, his hand on her waist, her lips brushing his cheek. It was enough. On July 1st, 1996, Nico Romano was ambushed outside a cafe in Brooklyn. He barely survived. His 2 bodyguards didn't. Sal didn't say it was him. He didn't have to. 2 days later, fire engulfed the DeMarco warehouse in the Bronx. 3 of Sal's enforcers were inside, burned alive. The message was clear: war. What followed was 3 months of violence. Drive-by shootings in broad daylight. Firebombs on family homes. Public executions dressed up as robberies. The city turned silent. A federal task force was launched. But no one spoke, not even whispers. Fear ruled, and in the middle of it all, Valentina disappeared. What no one knew was that Valentina Russo had a secret far more explosive than the Polaroid. She had been wearing a wire. 6 months earlier, in 1995, she had been arrested on minor drug possession. The feds saw potential. She had access. She had trust. She had motives. They flipped her. She became their inside woman, recording late-night conversations, copying ledgers, eavesdropping on pillow talk. She was their ghost inside the underworld. But what the feds didn't count on, that she'd fall in love with Nico. On the night of July 2nd, 1996, hours before the firebombing, Valentina delivered a flash drive to Agent Marcus Delaney, the federal handler who recruited her. On it were names of DeMarco's lieutenants, drug routes through Jersey and Pennsylvania, a timeline of bribes paid to local officials, details of the planned attack on Nico. It was everything. And then she vanished. On September 18th, 1996, federal raids swept across New York and New Jersey. Salvatore DeMarco was arrested at his niece's wedding in Yonkers. 4 high-ranking members of his family were indicted on racketeering, drug trafficking, and murder for hire. The Romano syndicate imploded under paranoia. Nico reportedly vanished for a month. The city exhaled, but not for long, because no one knew what happened to Valentina. Theory 1, witness protection. Some believe the government relocated her to Arizona or Oregon. There were unconfirmed reports of a woman named Elena Russo teaching music in Santa Fe. Theory 2, the Hudson body. In October 1996, a female body was pulled from the Hudson River, unrecognizable and missing ID. No match was ever confirmed. Theory 3, Nico took her. The most romantic theory. Nico found her before the feds could, spirited her away to Italy, a wedding in Palermo, a small villa in Sicily. Some even say she calls in anonymous donations to cold case units. Valentina Russo left behind no social media, no public record, and no real grave. But what she did leave was a blueprint of how one woman, one voice, could bring two crime families to their knees. Agent Delaney once said, she was smart. Too smart for the game she played. But in the end, she played everyone. Valentina wasn't just a singer, a mistress, or an informant. She was a weapon, used by the feds, desired by two kings, and feared by everyone who knew her name. In the underworld, love is more dangerous than bullets. And trust? That's the deadliest weapon of all.